So he becomes an abomination, and that's the fight now.
Ooh, that's even a better idea than what I had.
God damn it, Steve.
I am
your-
the backup GM.
Your sleep is troubled with like extremely bad dreams
Oh,
of just like all sorts of faceless nightmares.
that's horrible.
To the point where you wake up about 2 hours later screaming.
Ah!
Keep it down!
Like, right
damn
in
it.
Kenneth's ear.
You were sleeping with Kenneth?
You guys are all bundled up pretty
We're
close
all
together,
just
I would
sort of-
assume.
In a puppy pile.
Aw, that's kind of adorable.
Adorable.
Except the
When
puppies all have
Niram's
cancer.
on the bottom, just kind of.
He's the Saint
grim-faced.
Bernard.
What's poking me?
That's Kenneth. It's her ears.
Or her knife.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to tell.
Hammock's all gross and sweaty, as usual, but more so.
More so than usual. The taint's not helping.
No.
His... Damn it.
Hey, hey.
We really gotta clean our taints. Come on, guys.
Had terrible dreams. Strange creatures pursuing me, and
Gosh, the story of my life.
Was it your
She rolls
Templar?
over.
what Templar? I mean, what? No, it's monsters of some sort. It was horrifying.
We did just leave a monster-filled den of nightmares.
We all have bad dreams. I'm having one right now.
Sorry. Sorry, Kenneth.
Damn. You notice that the sun is up at this point.
Well,
5 more minutes.
Sort of like-
some perception seeing checks from people.
Sure.
Those of you who were woken up by Amex screaming.
I need coffee.
Blonk, blonk, blonk.
I'm a high roller tonight.
Perception.
Yeah, seeing if you got the focus.
You keep making that joke at Nero's expense.
Mike, you gonna roll?
Yes.
He's still asleep out in his tree.
Hegram and Roland both notice that the merchant is watching you guys. While him and his guards, big burly fellas, are eating some stew. Apparently stew is the only meal available here.
Is
Yeah,
the
it's easy to
barkeep's
make.
name Stu?
No.
Hmm.
That
Too
would be
bad.
weird. I'm Stew, try my stew.
Stews.
Stew is my specialty. Stew is Stew's specialty.
Stew loves
Stew.
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 Yeah, so they're watching. They appear to be watching you guys.
Huh, well, that's weird. Why don't we go
What?
over to
Are we a
introduce
mummer show?
ourselves?
All right.
Roland is so sensitive about his appearance now.
Shit, he's regressing from Jaime Lannister to Tyrion Lannister.
Hammock smooths down his few wisps of hair on the top of his head and goes over to talk to the merchant. Good morrow to you.
Greetings, traveler.
You wouldn't happen to be a merchant, would you?
Aye, that's my trade.
Oh,
I bring goods down from Orzammar towards Denerim.
is he a dwarf?
He's not a dwarf.
Okay. Oh, what a coincidence. We're heading from Orzammar towards Denerim, too. Well,
Indeed.
Orzammar-ish.
I didn't see you on the road.
well, we're fairly slow. We must have just caught up with you now.
A group of what? 6 on foot.
Well, it's what we can afford.
You seem a bit ill as well.
Niram's downing another entire cauldron of stew in the background.
Just
He's
gargling
just
with it.
drinking the whole thing of coffee.
Oh, it's just, you get wary from traveling. We're fine. Nothing a good night's rest in a fine Denerim inn won't fix for all of us, I'm sure.
Oh, one hopes, one hopes.
So what types of wares are you carting?
Right now, fine dwarven metalwork. Sorts of things the young lords in Denerim go wild for. Weapons, armor, that sort of thing.
That must be heavy.
Well, indeed, that's why I bring a cart.
Ah, a cart. What luxury.
Emic dreams of one day owning a cart of his own.
Yep.
We used to dream of living in a corridor.
Nice dog cart. Minus the dog.
You don't have animal training.
Exactly. Do I have cart handling? Is that a different skill?
Dynamic will settle
Completely
down and
different
have
skill.
a son, and his son will take the cart out and run it backwards, so he never knows. Never knows about the cart.
Puts a magical
There's
odometer
nothing
on it.
but the finest works from House Delac.
House what?
Oh,
Oh,
House Delac, huh?
House Delac.
Oh, indeed, indeed. Normally, I carry goods from Crowd Crusher as well, but they seem to have hit on some hard times.
Well, that's
Very
Yes,
tragic.
heard there was a terrible duct accident.
Nice.
it's very important to keep your ducts clean, I'm sure.
Did you say a terrible ducktail?
The duct
Woo
accident.
woo.
It would definitely be a
That's how it
terrible
rabbit
duck
stew
out. He just spits it all over Agra.
It's not just rabbit, it's rabbit and beef and a bunch of other stuff.
Dog.
It's all kind of in one stew.
Agram, try me breakfast. Why? Why all over me?
I don't know, but I'm not listening to that man over there.
When do you
Now-
expect to arrive in Denerim?
Oh, well, it might be a week.
Just a week? You must travel quite quickly. We were expecting to take
Oh.
at least 2 weeks to get there.
Well, again, a small group with a cart can travel far more quickly than a group on foot. No
Ah.
offense, but your dwarvish friend there is no doubt slowing the pace.
Well, no more than I am. Guys, should we try and get in on their cart sweetness?
You know, it would benefit us, but he might know who we are.
Candace kind
Since-
of leans in and goes, "There's a catch. There's always a catch."
He wants Kenneth as a waifu.
No.
Oh.
No, he
He
wants-
also
That was in
wants
character.
some of Kane's
Well,
blood.
then Roland would be like, sure.
Yeah.
Wants Niram as a wife.
Always wanted a big Kunari woman.
Ugu.
You notice me, senpai?
It's not like I care about you in that way. So should we be trying to get space on his cart or something? So that we die less quickly?
Sure, if he can
It's-
convince himself that a bunch of half-dead fighters would make a decent mercenary compliment.
Nothing ventured is nothing gained.
How many guards does he have?
That you can see too.
Okay.
There's two sitting in there with him right now.
Okay. Well, let's see. Can I get a read on how he feels about us as a group or about his upcoming trip to Denerim? Like if he's feeling nervous or anything?
That would be
Empathy?
perception, empathy.
Wonderful.
It's almost like he's using that skill that he just gained.
Mm-hmm.
Is empathy an opposed role in Dragon Age?
It can be.
Don't you dare try to understand my feelings.
It depends on what the other person's doing.
Ah.
He could be trying to mislead, potentially.
And well, pretty good. Yeah, you can't really get a read on him. He seems quite calm, actually.
Well, as it happens, my friends and I are somewhat accomplished guards and mercenaries. If you should happen to need any additional help on your road to Denerim, we'd be happy to help.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, mercenaries are. Well, I mean, these two lads here, they're my nephews. You know, much more reliable than mercenaries.
Well, I wouldn't call
course.
us mercenaries
Of
so
course,
much as...
if you're looking for transport, I could be persuaded to carry you all.
Well, there's
You're
an
quite
idea.
strong.
There's enough room in my cart for the 6 of you. I mean, you might have to take turns walking, but it could happen.
That's a wonderfully interesting idea. What would it take to make that idea into a reality?
Well,
A viable
I heard
plot.
this interesting story when I was in Orzammar.
Oh, yes?
That someone had made off with a book from House Crowcrusher.
A book? What would they want with a book from House Crawcrusher?
Well, that book had a bunch of very, very, very valuable smithing techniques and secrets. Virtually the whole livelihood of the house was stripped away from them in a moment by taking that book.
Terrible.
Now, I can't see how a small group of travelers might make much use of such a book, but someone who knows the right people could certainly help them make a fortune off of it.
I see. Well, if such a small group of travelers existed and happened to be carrying such a book, I'm sure they'd be willing to talk about it. But I'd have to see if a small group of travelers such as that did indeed exist by going and talking to this medium-sized group of travelers that I'm with.
Smooth.
Nirav grunts and just says something about we're wasting time.
I agree.
You have to waste time to save time,
why
boys.
is he asking about the book?
God damn it.
Well, Aresta, funny you should ask.
Should we kill him?
I don't think that would be the
I'm
best
not
idea.
laughing, so what's so funny about it, and how does he know to ask us about it?
I don't know if he did know to ask us about it.
Are we having a team huddle right now?
You don't think that's a bit coincidental?
Is Aresta just screaming this across the room?
No!
Or have we Have we huddled up? Let's say we've huddled
I-
up over here.
I can't whisper and use this voice. It just doesn't work.
Can I get some perception checks from anyone who's not immediately absorbed in the conversation?
Dragging everybody over.
Oh, well, that does it.
Jesus.
Kenneth's elf eyes
you can you can just
spot that the merchant is watching you very, very interestedly.
Look, I don't believe in coincidences. I'm a dwarf.
Just
Well,
keep-
regardless, this man could help us cut our travel time in half, at the potential risk of him trying to kill us in our sleep.
Or
Kind
we
of
could do the
watch-
chase and we cut his throat and we take his wagon.
just kind of watch what you say, because he's paying pretty good attention to us.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't he? I'm quite fetching.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, Aresta, it's your property that we may or may not be discussing. Potentially
well, I'll
or
put
not.
it to you like this, Amek.
Yes?
He clearly knows we have the book.
Maybe.
Come on. Are you
A
daft?
Reasonable assumption.
He probably knows. We'll go on that assumption.
Yeah, I think. How are those nipple rings?
So let's keep focused, Aresta. Let's keep
Oh,
focused on the
okay,
book.
Okay.
Even if he does know about the book, what can he do? He's one man with 2 green boys for guards, and we're us.
You really think that? You think he's just gonna walk in here, start talking about us specifically and an item that we have, and he just happens to have Dulac's weapons in his wagon, and he's not clearly more than meets the eyes, perhaps a golem in disguise.
Well, he said that he used to do business with House Crawcrusher. Perhaps you recognize him. Or have heard
I
tell
doubt
of
it.
him.
Well, dwarves tend to look alike.
Mhm.
No
Wow.
argument there. But maybe he's just an idiot who thinks he can get the better of us. Never that ever occurred to you?
I'm pretty sure he's smarter than he looks.
Hmm.
He
smarter
looks
than the
quite
average
dumb.
bear's card.
Hagram,
The point
Types of-
is, it's going to take us 2 weeks to get to Denerim on foot. We could die before we get there. Right, Hegram?
yes, you could die. You could die very soon. It's
Well, you couldn't. You're fine.
well, he's fine. That's why I'm saying you is in the royal you.
I
Which
thought you
is
said
not
we
me.
again. I was like,
So
"No,
here's
you're
here's
fine."
here's my suggestion. We play along with this gentleman. If he tries to pull anything, then we'll do what's necessary. But if we can get to Denerim in half the time and not die horribly along the way, I think that's a worthwhile risk.
As good a plan as we have available to us, I suppose.
I kind of like my plan where we put our stabs through his chest cavity and make his heart explode.
That's
And
not
then-
a plan. That's you being a homicidal maniac.
Well,
Let's try to avoid.
potato, Verlan.
And why is he turning into an Irishman?
He's talking about potatoes.
You're not even
He's,
a real
he's
Irishman. You're turning
becoming
into like
smaller
Lucky
and
Charms
greener by the word.
The hat is growing out of his head.
Oh, Hardy,
Fedora.
Hardies.
Rainbow suddenly pierces the roof.
I'm pretty sure this man's after me Lucky Charms.
Oh God.
A larger, redder beard shoots out of his beard.
So
Beards upon beards.
I can appreciate the merit of your plan, Aresta, but at the same time, we're not in the deep roads anymore. There are laws here. And
Don't think there are.
there definitely are laws
Well,
here.
He's got a point.
No.
We are in Ferelden.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're not in, Relan's
Orlais.
town.
The center of culture and harmony, yes.
Yeah, you know, where they're all floofy.
They still frown upon straight up murder here in
Well,
Ferelden.
okay. Perhaps we can't do that, but I want to make sure we're on the same page here. This guy's gonna try to kill us or rob us
Yes,
before we get to Denerim.
most assuredly.
Just please wait for him to make the attempt before you try to kill him.
That way we can
Is
claim
it-
self-defense.
Is it the taint that's addling your brains?
I just
We
don't want to
used to not
kill.
want to get into these scenarios.
I just don't want to kill more people than necessary. You know, it's call me crazy.
Well, I do frequently behind your back.
I know. I can hear you. You're not very quiet.
Well, I was a singer back in Orzammar.
And you have a lovely voice. Great projection, right
Thank
from your
you,
diaphragm.
Thank you. I mean, as long as we're all on the same page and Niram's ready to snap their necks.
Niram nods.
Great. Let's
Well, okay
go.
then, let's go. But
So,
we're not telling him we have the book.
well, then he's not going to take us, Aresta.
Well, you know, you were suggesting that he was just, putting it out there. Just pay him some silver. Or rabbits too.
Yeah, sure. So Amik will return over to the merchant and say, well,
And how did it go?
oh, they're lovely individuals, very keen on the idea of traveling by cart. So, whether or not we were able to help you find this book, what would be the price of a ride on the cart?
The book.
Mm-hmm. And if we aren't able to find it?
Well, it's a 2-week walk to Denerim, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Amik walks back over to the huddle. Yeah, definitely, you just have to say, sure, we've got the book, we'll cut you in on it. Otherwise, it's walking.
Okay, how about we all go over and we talk to him? Because I'm kind of wondering a couple things at this point.
Well, go right ahead.
Leave your oar here, please.
And I'm also wondering if I know him.
Well, I asked you that earlier, but sure, go take a better look.
You absolutely don't know him.
If I know of him.
No. Honestly, to you, human merchants all look the same.
I'm pretty sure I've seen him before.
Plus, when you were in Orzammar, you didn't really deal with surfacers like that. You have, like, go-betweens.
It's
and that
true.
sort of thing.
Wouldn't he have been stuck up the top in that marketplace?
The diamond, what?
Mostly, yeah, he would have been. I mean, they do let outsiders into Orzammar, but
We got
As
it
we
right
know,
now.
we were literally just there.
I don't think we were. Anyway, let's go talk to this guy.
The huddle suddenly envelopes the merchant. Hey, buddy!
all right. So you guys are on like, go team, and go after him.
Brig.
He seems quite unfazed by the fact that you're now all walking over towards him. He just sits there quite calmly.
Niram brings the pot with him.
Still eating.
Good, that'll be a good bargaining chip.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, Aresta.
So just as I figured, you know me name, and you clearly know who we are.
Yes, I do.
And how is that exactly?
Not really any of your business.
I think it is since you just said me name.
I have an employer who has certain interests that coincided with your little adventure. in Orzammar.
What
So it's
adventure
just-
was that?
He kind of stares at Resta and then turns to look at Amak. So this patron of mine
Mm-hmm.
is interested in that book.
I'd gathered.
She would pay an enormous sum for it.
And can we be sure that she would actually pay us a sum as opposed to paying us in arrows in our back?
Of course, she's a very honorable woman.
Nairn
How
brought something about
honorable.
how
Yeah.
probably should have broken her neck.
Well,
Yeah.
Roland's thinking of the other kind of honor.
Nah.
Oh, it's yeah, it might be her. You're right, Niram.
It's
Or-
entirely possible.
Is it me sister?
God damn it! Roland almost says that out loud. But
Stop being subtle, fellas.
Ah, your sister. Yes. I'm afraid she was found to be in collusion with some very, very bad people. And the last I heard, she was exiled into the dark roads with nothing to protect herself.
That doesn't
Oh,
sound
that's
like
a
very
pity.
nice.
A very large shame, I'm afraid.
Who,
No, your sister has not the resources for this sort of thing. House Crack Crusher effectively does not exist anymore. I'm sorry to tell you.
So this
Well,
is
that's-
essentially
that's
Don't
their
be
fine.
too
legacy.
sorry. It's his fault.
Yeah, I mean, I'm House Crack Crusher now.
Not according to the law in Orzammar.
Well, I'm not in Orzammar.
As far as they're concerned, you don't exist.
Well, I already knew that.
Arston knew he didn't exist.
You're really not telling me anything I don't know, apart from maybe telling me who me sister was working with. Cat Meow.
Ah, yes, cat meow.
Ah, yes, Cat Meow Crack
Cat
Crusher.
Meows from Orestes Beard.
Glad the cat decided to make a cameo. A cat
Well,
meow.
your sister was working with some members of the Carta. Very, very disappointing.
Well, me too. Did you hear what she did to me?
I did. It was quite the talk of the town. When
Was
people
it?
heard you'd come back. Oh, yes.
Were they excited?
Not really.
I see.
But it was quite a scandal. Normally, an exiled dwarf is never allowed back into Orzammar. But since you were in the company of this fine Grey Warden, an exception was made.
Well, was that
So-
you? Eh.
Hagram
Arrogance
puffs up,
mentality, he immediately trusts this guy.
adjusts his frill.
Jokes.
He's just completely weak to flattery.
Oh yes, he called me a Grey Warden and a nice one. So yes, I agree. Let's give him the book.
Well, how about this then?
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with you on the cart to Denerim. You can help us sell the book, and you and your employer get a cut.
No, not quite. My employer has a more direct interest in the book.
So your employer wants to purchase the book.
Indeed.
All right. And is your employer in Denerim?
No, she's not.
All right. So once we arrive in Denerim, what is the plan?